I will go ahead and pass the gavel to the Vice Chairman so we can hear my bills.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chair Rodriguez, you are recognized to explain SB 164.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This draft bill amends and creates statutes concerning vessel ownership, nuisance, and derelict vessels, and anchoring and mooring practices. More specifically, the bill clarifies the definition of a vessel owner so that it is clear who is responsible when a vessel is determined to be derelict. It also provides that the title of a derelict vessel is prima facie evidence of ownership for any derelict vessel on waters of the state. And there's a lot more, but that's the essence of the bill.
Thank you for the explanation of the bill. Senators, any questions on the bill? Any questions on the bill? Seeing none, Chair Rodriguez, you are recognized to take up Amendment Barcode 974618.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This amendment amends the long-term anchoring permit program established by the bill. The amendment will require the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission to offer an electronic permitting system for long-term anchoring permits, similar to what is currently in place for fishing licenses. The amendment also clarifies that the long-term anchoring permit requirement will not supersede any other anchoring limitations.
Thank you for the explanation, Senators. Any questions on the proposed amendment? Any questions? Showing none, Senators, without objection, Senators, we are going to adopt Amendment Barcode 974618. Chair Rodriguez, you are recognized to introduce Amendment Barcode 446196.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a technical amendment to fix a drafting error in the underlying bill. That is the
Senators, any questions on the amendment? Any questions on the amendment? Showing none. Any debate on the amendment? Showing none. Without objection, Senators, we are going to adopt 446196 barcode. We are back on the bill as amended. Senators, any questions on the bill as amended? Any questions? Showing none. Do we have public testimony? Public testimony. Wallen Moran. You are recognized, sir.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Sir, make sure there's a little gray button at the base of the microphone. Your left-hand side.
Left-hand side. I'm sorry.
I think it might be on that. Did you hit it?
I don't see anything looking like a button.
Okay.
Testing.
There you go.
Thank you. Don't do this often enough, I guess. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Wally Moran. I represent the Cruisers' Rights Network of North America. I am against HB 164 as it unfairly restricts anchoring and it harms responsible boaters, both local and transient, and in the process it also harms Florida's marine economy. I'd like to be clear about one thing. Boaters strongly support removing derelict vessels and protecting waterways, but the HB 164 doesn't do that. It punishes responsible boaters while failing to address the actual problem. Although I am addressing HB 164 today, much of what I'm going to say is applicable to the other anti-anchoring bills which are in front of the legislature this session. For example, it's quite clear that these bills were not written with any input from boaters. And by that I mean people who spend days and weeks on the water, charter boat and delivery captains, cruising boaters, out-of-state boaters, and not people in suits who might go out on a Sunday 3-hour tour in a 26-foot center console. These bills propose so-called solutions that will put boaters into dangerous circumstances. They do not address effectively the problems that they are supposed to be solving. And let's be upfront about this. They're being proposed because certain communities in Florida are attempting to ban anchoring altogether. My question for all of you is this one. Why is this legislature even considering proposals that are clearly parochial, that benefit one community at the expense of boaters and communities statewide? Now, the problems with HB 164 include harsh anchoring time limits that will put boaters at risk. The bill forces boaters to move even when it is unsafe to do so, disregarding weather, emergency repairs, or marina availability. Marinas and mooring fields currently are full. From December until April or May, wait lists exceed a month in places like Boot Key Harbor and St. Augustine. Biscayne Bay right now has over 500 boats at anchor, some over 100 feet in length, for extended periods, and there are no slips available for those boats in Florida. There are simply not enough slips available to put these boats anywhere but at anchor. Now, from Palm Beach to Miami, hundreds of boats anchor every season while waiting for a safe weather window to cross to the Bahamas. If boats are forced to move before conditions allow, they'll be trapped with no safe options, putting both vessels and lives of the people aboard in danger. Boating brings in $23 billion annually to Florida, and it supports thousands of jobs in marinas, boatyards, and waterfront businesses. On top of all of this, law enforcement is going to be obligated to checking a boat's permit. This diverts law enforcement resources and funds from more important police action. Now, instead of broad restrictions, I suggest that Florida should adopt a zoned management approach, and I write about this in my white paper, Anchoring a Solution. Some of you have already received a copy, and all of you will receive a copy of it in the next day or so. Anchoring a Solution provides a balanced, effective alternative to banning anchoring. Florida needs to establish managed anchorages as proposed in my white paper by creating designated anchoring zones with clear, enforceable guidelines instead of blanket bans on anchoring. Now, the reason I wrote this white paper is because nobody's taken an overview of the entire situation in years, and it needed to be done. Florida already has tools like the propulsion test and vessel turn-in program to deal with derelict boats. Why are communities such as Miami Beach not using those tools to solve derelict boat issues rather than creating yet another unworkable law? Boaters, responsible boaters, want to help maintain Florida's waterways. Yet in all the time I've been involved in this issue, which is a couple of decades now, I see very little consultation with actual boaters. The result is that we get legislation that does not work, that creates more problems, not fewer, and every year you people spend hours and hours of your time dealing with boating issues when you shouldn't have to be doing this. In summation, HB 164 is unnecessary and it's unworkable. Zoned management is the smarter and more balanced alternative, and I urge this committee to reject HB 164 and instead work with actual boaters on fair, effective anchoring regulations. I'm available at your convenience to discuss the solutions proposed in the white paper, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Kingsley Ross. And Mr. Ross, just I see you sitting with the other gentleman. If it's a lot of the same information,
we have totally different views on this subject. I represent the Boaters' Rights Coalition, Advocacy Coalition, which consists of 4 organizations: the America's Great Loop, Cruisers Association, DeFever Cruisers, Marine Trawlers, Owners Association, and Seven Seas Cruising Association. Together, we represent the interests of hundreds and thousands of boats. We support this bill. With all due respect to Wally's opinion, we do not believe it'll be a particular burden for boaters. You have to get a handle on boats that are going to become derelict. And this is a proactive step in that direction. And in that situation, in that context, we support the bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Sorry, I didn't see that you were a proponent of the bill. Sorry about that. I apologize. Robert Reyes, Monroe County. Waiving in support. Are there any other appearances to come before the committee on the bill? Showing none. Members, we are on debate on the bill as amended. Debate on the bill as amended. Anybody for debate? Showing none. Chair Rodriguez, you're recognized to close on the bill as amended.
Waive close.
Having waived close, can please call the roll on CS for Senate Bill 164?
Senator Arrington?
Yes.
Senator Avila?
Yes.
Senator Broder?
Yes.
Senator DeSigley?
Yes.
Senator Harrell?
Yes.
Senator Polsky?
Yes.
Senator Smith?
Yes.
Senator Rodriguez?
Yes.
Chair Angolia?
Yes. Senators by your vote show that CS for Senate Bill 164 reported favorably. Senators are going to go to tab 3, Senate Bill 388.